for those that are here, this is the best part of the call because you're going to hear you're going to hear the actual magic words that Matt and Troy say. So we'll start with you, Matt. Let's, pick ethos, pick silver, pick whatever, Benny, I don't care, but let's not do the same one. So one of you pick one of you pick the other, but I want like ring to like, numbers and or ring to, getting through the financial inventory, any specifics, right? What's a Stuppielloism or what's a Cassidyism? Like what are these? Because we all have like our own things that like I say this and some people are like, I would never say it like that, but it works for you and you feel good saying it. And when you get to this point in your script, you're like, ooh, she's 85% done because it's game over. Because every time I say this, they buy, right? Like, so walk us through that like beginning and, with specifics. So this is the part where people are going to pause it. They're going to get a pen and paper out and write down the words because they know that actually makes real memories. And this is where they're going to get the true, like, how do I communicate like Matt and Troy communicate? So let's just, however, whatever lead type you want to work, just kind of, go flow through it.
Yeah. So this is what I feel like allows me to be the most successful in this business is because I am just myself. I get on the phone and a lot of people, I want you to know, there's nothing to be afraid of on the phone. You're going to be nervous, but dude, have fun. Like this truly is so fun every day when I get on the phone with these people. So because I kind of felt myself thinking in the beginning, if you're a new agent, that this was so serious that I had to be a professional. I had to sound like I knew what I was talking about. And that's the exact opposite. Yeah, to an extent you do. But what I started doing in the beginning is I literally just started ripping this ribeye line. I was like, you know what? My intro, I'm just going to have fun. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm going to try to get them to laugh immediately. So they're going to be my best friend. It's like I'm literally flirting with dudes, flirting with girls, just whatever. Like, I don't care. I'm going to make them love me in the first intro, whatever. So it's literally like, hey, John, how you doing? It's like, what? Who? I feel like their cousin. Like, they're like, is this my cousin calling me? Hey, John, how you doing? Yeah, perfect. I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. I got 2 ribeyes in the fridge right now. Just seasoned them up. And when I get home, I'm gonna slap them on the grill, man. It's gonna be a great day. If I get a laugh out of them, dude, it's over. I mean, I'm getting a sale right there. Like obviously some things have to come into play. But if they're laughing, dude, I just sat them down in their chair and they're ready to talk. They're ready to see what's going on. I'm not calling them like, hey, this is Matthew. I'm from here. Like I don't sound like that whatsoever. I speak to these people on the phone like I'm talking to my best friend, like I'm talking to Troy, like I'm talking to Grady if he called me. Like I'm not speaking to somebody like I think they want to hear it. I'm speaking to them authentic from the soul that I'm genuinely trying to help them out here and I'm on their team. So that's the perspective. That's the route I take every single time I get on the phone, which basically allows me to lower their guard immediately. And then they end up just selling themselves. I mean, I'm asking them questions about themselves and like they start talking about whatever they want. I relate to it. So I can relate to them.
Yeah.
And the conversation is just flowing. It's not something where I'm just asking them questions and they're sitting there like, yes, no smoking, whatever. I'm like, yeah. So fast forward a little bit. I mean, when I ask them how old they are every single time, hey, and John, how young are you, man? You sound like you're 30. The guy's 75. Like it's just like he starts laughing. They get excited. They want to talk to you. Other things I say when I'm like getting through the conversation, I don't ask people specifically like, yeah, so were you born in the state of Kentucky? No, it's like, oh man, you've been out in Kentucky your whole life. And I get the information I need in the needs analysis without them even knowing that I'm basically interrogating them or filling out a sheet as we're going through the conversation. So it genuinely feels just organic. The conversation is flowing. The conversation is fluid. It's a two-sided conversation. It's not just me ripping them with questions. However, I am constantly on offense. Like when we're speaking, I'm never on defense, as in I'm always asking the questions. I'm always in control of the conversation. The ball's in my court. So that limits all chances of objections. And I basically attack objections head on from what I ask them and the questions that I propose to them. Now, another huge thing I say is immediately like we get into the medical information, stuff like that. Hey man, are you a smoker by chance? No. Oh, perfect. I just saved you $1 million right there. Say little things right there. I get people to chuckle on that every time. If they don't laugh, shit, I just gotta dig harder. I gotta dig deeper, you know? So that is, I think, something I use that I've been able to put into my presentations that genuinely allow me to write 50, 60K.
Awesome. Just lighthearted, just but asking them the same words you need to get answers to, just a little differently and making it seem fun. It's awesome.
Exactly.
All right, Troy. What are you pick a lead type and let's kind of hear your kind of roast, go through it. What are you saying so people can just pause this, play it back in their head for this next 90 seconds over and over and over? I mean, this you're the Hall of Famer. Let's hear it.
Do it. So I'll probably just rip like a beneficiary lead intro.
Okay.
And just to give you some context, I learned a lot from Matt too about just having that playful spirit coming into the conversation, and that's where you're going to find the most success. Like, I'm not the best salesman by any means at all. I really don't have any secret word tracks, but I do have like, I give off that energy over the phone, at least I try to, that I genuinely care about whoever I'm talking to. And I understand, like, if they're angry or if they're mad or if they're frustrated with the life insurance process or whatever the case might be, that, nobody wants to be sold, but people will buy something from someone that they like and someone who is genuinely listening to what they're saying. And so I'm kind of notorious for having longer presentations in this business. I know people will post 30-minute one call close or 45-minute close, and it's just like, I had never really known how to do that because, one, I want my business to stick. Like, every policy I sell, I want to build a relationship, and the only way for the business to stick is if you build somewhat of a relationship, and they know at the end of the call, like, this person is my life insurance agent for life, and that's the dude I'm going to call if I miss a payment. I got clients calling me, and it's weird that it's happened like 3 times in the past 2 days. They're calling me and they're like, hey, did my payment go through? Like, I just changed my credit card. Is everything going to be good? I'm like, yeah, we put your bank account down, transfer is going to go through, card change doesn't matter. But they're reaching out, and it's just because you build that relationship with them. So I'd say, more than anything, if you're a new agent on this call and you're looking for that secret sauce, you got to find out what works for you. But at the end of the day, everyone that you talk to is going to be going through something in their own lives. And if you can make the conversation about them instead of you just reading down a script, it's going to change the game for you. Like, if somebody tells you, I'm looking to cover funeral final expense so my wife doesn't have to, like, that's so surface level. Nobody wants to leave a burden behind for their spouse. So dig a little bit deeper. Like, yeah, of course, man, that makes sense. Is your spouse, is she currently working, or, is it a 2-income household? Gotcha. So you're the breadwinner. So that makes sense why you're looking into something like this. How long have y'all been married? And just kind of literally, just like Matt said, just creating natural conversation while you're checking the boxes on everything that you need to, the information that you need to gather, so you can feel confident pitching a product, and confident letting them know, like, hey, it sounds like something that would definitely benefit you, looking into some options for this. Obviously, it's all based off health, age, and habits. So, and then I'll go into the financial inventory, and I use that thing as a tool. That's like a whole, that's a whole thing in and of itself. But really, just to run through my intro, and the psychology behind it, I try to create a little bit of confusion, almost seem like I'm just like the paper guy on the back end, just making sure we got the information or your insurance packet out to you. So I'll say, hi, John. Hey, John, this is Troy. I just had a couple minutes here before my next appointment to get back to you. It looks like we did receive the request that you had made online when you were looking into possible life insurance options. I just need to confirm some things here for your file. It says you listed your mailing address as 123 Main Street. Is that correct? Awesome, perfect. Did any one of my guys or gals actually get this information out to you just yet? No? Okay, I apologize. We've been super backed up ever since COVID with these requests coming in. And you know, and this is where I might like crack a joke. I've said this a couple of times. Typically, they try to get this information out via carrier pigeon, and sometimes they die along the way and they don't make it to your home. So it kind of makes sense why you might have not received anything yet to your front door. But either way, what was kind of your main concern when you were looking into this in the first place? That's my intro. And then after that, it's improv. Conversation could go anywhere, and I stay right there, like right after the intro, I stay right there for 5-10 minutes sometimes, because that's where you're going to gather all the information. That's where you're going to ask the questions. That's where you're going to, you know, what was your main concern? Who were you looking into this for? Yourself, spouse, children? You know, what was you like, were you trying to cover funeral, final expenses, cover a mortgage, just leave a legacy behind for your kids? And I'm staying right there because that's where all the credibility, all the rapport is going to be built. That's where the trust is going to be earned. And then once you get into, you gather enough information to figure out how you can find a pain point and then ultimately paint the picture for the client. You know, like I want to get to the point in every presentation where I've gathered enough information to know, okay, John, listen, man, I've been listening to everything you've told me, and I'll verbally tell them that, because I want them to know, like, hey, I've been intently listening to everything that you've kind of told me thus far, and you know, you sound like an awesome dude, and you love your wife, and you got 3 kids, and dude, you're starting a small village, you know, of this beautiful family, and you know, it makes sense why you were looking into this, because at the end of the day, you have the coverage through work. But as you already know, and I explained, you know, if something happened to your job, or you were unable to perform your job due to an illness or injury, that coverage that you have through work would not be there when you need it the most. And that's your family's financial security, depending on a work policy. So we're going to be going over more permanent options to kind of provide you that peace of mind. And then I'll kind of paint the picture, because at the end of the day, if you lost that job and you passed away the next day, you know, your spouse is going to be covering the $250,000 mortgage you just said you had. She's got to take care of the 3 kids. She's got to immediately come out of pocket to cover your final expenses. And she makes significantly less money than you make, since you're the breadwinner. And running the risk of her losing the home and having to, you know, all while she's grieving the loss of her husband and her children's father, like that's not something you want to leave. And this is something that could definitely be prevented with some of the options we'll be going over. This is all based off of your age, health, and habits, as far as what company and how I'm going to tailor this policy specifically for your needs. You know, so now I'm going to ask a couple medical questions. That you are any medications or prescriptions at the moment? I'll kind of just go into it from there. But the intro of my script, like the conversation can go anywhere. I don't have any secret, like I wish I had some like secret sauce, but I pick up on Derek Thrasher, Bowen Sweeney, Caitlin Blackburn, Carrie Glass, just all these dogs who, you know, we're on Zoom with them every day. So it's like, if you haven't heard a word track, or if you're getting bodied, it's like, go listen to someone else and hear how they present. And just because everybody does it differently, everyone has their own secret sauce, but I don't have any one-liners. Stoops, the 2 ribeyes in the fridge, every time he'd hit that and he'd get a laugh out of it, I would joke around on Zoom like, deal's closed, everybody tune in, he's putting on a clinic right now. And you know, but the biggest thing really is just having fun, like having a good time. Believing in what it is that we do, knowing our ability and what we can provide for these people. And man, if you have, you know, I'll talk to people for 60 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, and you know, you build a relationship with someone, and I'm not worried about a chargeback. I've probably had, I could count on one hand how many chargebacks I've had since like November. And that's the best feeling in the world. That's what I wanted to get to. That proof of concept for myself is what I wanted to replicate into anyone that I bring into this business. Like, oh, I've heard bad things, I've seen bad reviews, chargebacks, debt, this, that. I'm like, dude, I sell people life insurance and they love me and they love the product. And, I've had 3, 4 chargebacks since November. Like, you can't ultimately prevent them. Like, they're going to happen. And don't get me wrong, when I first started, all I had was chargebacks. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. I literally called my parents. I'll admit it, I was crying, I was like, I don't know if this is legitimate business. Like, I can't keep anything on the books. What am I doing wrong? And then I kind of just took a step back and I was like, well, maybe it's because I'm brand new to an industry. I've never dealt with clientele. I don't know how to follow up with these people. I don't know how to treat these people. I'm reading a script word for word, and there's no, I'm not doing what I'm doing now, where I'm just having a natural, free flowing conversation and really like taking notes on any sort of tidbits that they tell me that's worth bringing back up later in the application process or later in the conversation. Something that a typical person shouldn't remember about like their grandson who just did whatever, and I'm writing that down. Like, I'm active while I'm on the phone, so I'm taking notes, and then I bring that back up later in the conversation or back when we're running through beneficiaries, and the amount of rapport and credibility that builds for you, and the fact that like they know, whether they know it or not, like you were listening to something that they said in the very beginning of the conversation, is what helps me get to social and get to banking and not get an objection. It's like, here's what we're doing. We've already established everything. We know this is something that you need. And I'm going to be your guy for life. And then, it makes it real easy when you're asking for those tough questions in the application process.
Awesome. Smooth, bro. It's care, right? Just care. So in those two veins, just final, like 30 seconds, anything you do between both of you, we'll start with Matt, post sale. Like, so clients approved, you tell them, not tell them, do you send a text, email, thank you card, flowers, chocolates, some of it, none of it? What do you do to solidify you're their agent for life? Don't answer any more ads, don't call anymore, don't fill any more things out. Like, what are you doing in that last 3 minutes to what you do to service the client?
Yeah. One thing before I forget to say this, like, if you bring someone into the business, you got to be their guy and you got to genuinely show them how it's done, because I can't be more grateful for what Troy has done. And he's a leader every single day, and he's literally got me to this. Yeah, I did a lot on my own and stuff, but I wouldn't be here or doing this or even have this opportunity without his guidance every single day. I literally learn from him every single day, and I learn from everybody here. I pray, I mean, I know they learn from me as well, which is the best feeling and the culture to have in an agency you're growing. Last 30 seconds, I'm letting them know, like, hey, I'm gonna be your guy for life. So if anybody calls you, you let them know, hey, I'm working with Matthew Stuppiello III, best life insurance agent in the game. Now you tell them kick rocks, you tell them whatever you want. I want you to save my phone number in your phone right now. This is my personal cell phone, same number my mom's gonna call me on. So I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you in a week. I'm gonna call you in 2 weeks. I'm gonna test you. If you don't have my number saved, I'm gonna be pissed. And I'll literally like tell them that, and they'll laugh, they'll joke, whatever. And I'm like, hey, your beneficiary is gonna have my phone number saved in their phone as well. And God forbid something happens to you. I hope I never get that call. But if I do, I'm gonna be the one stepping on Americo's neck to make sure we get your wife or your child that money, because that's what this is all about. We're gonna make sure it actually serves its purpose. We get them approved, whatever. We hang up, we laugh. I call them the next day. I don't tell them they got approved yet. I call them the next day. I let them know, hey man, I got good news, I got bad news. Which one you want first? They'll say, they always give me the bad news. I'm like, all right, bad news is you're gonna have to keep my phone number saved. I'm gonna be your guy for life. There's literally no getting rid of me now. I don't know if that's good or bad news, but I hit you with it first. And they're still, oh, like some people you don't get a laugh at, but that's a tough crowd when you do. Then I'm like, good news is we got you approved as applied. Something happens to you, you are covered immediately. Your wife is taken care of. So you got my number. Say we're gonna get this policy packet out to your home. If anything ever happens to you, you want to call me, text me. You want to call me at 1 a.m. and talk about the game that just happened, you call this phone. I'm gonna answer you. If I don't, call you back in 30 seconds. And I just, again, reiterate, like, I'm their guy. I'm their guy. Some other follow-up stuff that people do. I should get better at that. I should get better at sending monthly emails, happy birthday cards, stuff like that. But that's just where me, myself, 50, 60K, I can still get better. I can still learn. I'm constantly learning and getting better in my process and just adding to my game.
I love it, man. Great. It's awesome.
I don't want to reiterate what Matt just said, but I pretty much do the exact same thing.
I learned it from him.
You know, I never tell someone that they're approved right out the gates. And I learned that from Kerry Glass. You know, I used to tell people, you know, hey, you got approved, instantly approved. And it just didn't seem like they were going through a process. It seemed almost like if they were healthy individuals, they might be like, oh, damn, I was approved that quick, you know, and it might give them thoughts of like, maybe I could get a better rate. You know, I'm gonna shop around a little bit and maybe I'll find something with, they just might want to do something on their own. So I definitely want, like, even if I get that instant approval and I'm like, yes, let's go. I'm gonna get them back on the phone the next day or even 48 hours later, and hit them with the same secret sauce that Matt just shared for y'all. So I wouldn't want to reiterate anything he just said. That was perfect. That's exactly how we do it and exactly how we really teach people to do it.
Yeah.
You send a pretty fire email though, don't you?
Yeah, obviously, like I'll run over the basics at the end of the conversation. I'll recap, almost like I'm quizzing the client. I'll recap everything we just did. I'll say, like, what coverage amount, what, you know, monthly premium was it? Okay, and when exactly was the effective date? I'll run through a little quiz. I'll make it fun. I'll make it playful. But yeah, once I do get somebody approved, I call them back up. I let them know basically what to expect next. And I send out an email, send out a text that has all the details of everything that we did, all of my information, you know, like a paragraph of like my gratitude for them trusting me with the process of handling something as important as this. And I'll also, once they're approved, like while I'm on the phone with them and I'm telling them, I'm going to send you the email, you know, here's what to expect next, 7 to 10 business days, insurance packets coming in the mail. I'm right there. I'm having them save, if it's not already, save my number in their phone and in their beneficiary's phone. So I let them know, like, hey, with your permission, obviously, I'm going to shoot, you know, Lexi and your son, John, a text message, just letting them know who I am. Send them my information. That way, you know, if something happens sooner than we expected it to, on the worst day of your family's life, if they can't find your physical policy, if they don't know you have life insurance in place, you know, millions of dollars of life insurance goes unclaimed every single year. And we want to make sure this is going, like, serving its purpose. So they got to have my number saved, and they got to know that they can reach out to me if they need assistance in making a claim. Because at the end of the day, there are steps required to make a claim, and the death certificate has to be presented. And not a lot of people are educated on that type of stuff. So that just further cements and solidifies the sale with the client, and, you know, potential for referrals with their beneficiaries. So that's kind of the process there, you know. And I mean, the biggest piece of advice, though, that I really wanted to give to, like, any new agents who are still listening to us, we're over an hour in, and, you know, I appreciate y'all are hungry, and obviously eager to learn. It sounds corny, but just enjoy the process. Like, there are going to be days where you get bodied. There are going to be days where you go nuts and you pop off for 3-4 sales. But I see a lot of people in this business, and myself included, that we're so focused on the task at hand, and it can be kind of overwhelming at times. And, you know, the IP numbers come out and you want to be on that leaderboard. But don't let that steal the joy, the happiness, you know, the incredible opportunity that we have in front of us. Like, don't let it steal that, you know, the joy that you can find through the process and through the grind. Like, we just had a lock-in San Diego, and at the end of it, you know, we were, if Yeah, D Neely and I, we like to run our lock-ins like a Navy SEAL boot camp, you know. So we get active. We're up at 5 a.m. We're working out with the squad, team workout. We're dialing hard all day. We run our own trainings with the leaders that we have. We'll do a hot seat objection role play. So people are put on the hot seat and they gotta, you know, perform or book an appointment. And it's a lot. And this past one in San Diego is 72 hours, 3 days, you know, where we're getting 6 hours of sleep and just grinding like all day. And it's really like we get so much progress comes out of that. We build such good relationships. That's where the culture of the team is built. That's where the relationships grow. You really realize you're like a part of a family. And I don't know, man, it's like that being able to host those types of events for my team and, you know, for everybody a part of our family, that's what makes this thing as fun as it is. And you know, at the end of the lock-in, I told everyone, I was like, we're going to be looking back on these moments because we have a lot of young people on our team. We do have, you know, single moms and people in their 30s. My parents, you know, they're high 50s, you know, and you know, we'll be looking back on these times at the lock-in and these events that we're throwing and all the work that we're putting in now, and it's like we'll regret not enjoying that more, you know, because there's no amount of money, you know, when you're 50 and you there's no amount of money you could pay to go back to when you're 20 or when you're 30. And you know, I just wanted to kind of let everyone know the biggest thing is like enjoy the process because it is a grind, but the opportunity is unlike any other. And if you're not enjoying the ride, you know, don't let fear, anxiety, and doubt overcome, you know, you from reaching your goals and achieving everything you want in this life.
Yeah.
I love it. Great job hosting your own lock-ins. It's an evolutionary process. It's to be able to reinvest in them and be able to cover the costs on things like that and food and all the things and leads. And it's an investment, but they feel it and they see it. And, you know, it's something that everybody should set a goal to do, whether it's a lock-in or open an office or be able to put an agent on lead support to put your hand back out and help those that have made. I mean, they're going to decide whether or not they want to do it. They want to attend it. They want to take it seriously, or they want to sleep in or whatever. And maybe Dean Illy's dumping cold water on their head. I'd imagine he's got some sort of shaving cream in the hand while they're sleeping. I don't know what level of fun you guys have, but I love it, man. Proud of you and proud to see what you're building. Matt, give us some final thoughts, final 30, 60-second send off on, you know, a new agent and it's looking at you going, man, that, you know, he played football and then he got hurt. So, you know, he had time and they're sitting there making excuses, right? They're just going, you know, right. It's like a lot of successful people were former addicts. And, you know, this has nothing to do with you guys, but like they took their addiction that they had towards something that may have been a negative thing in their life and they applied towards business. Now most people have some sort of poor habits or bad things that they find themselves doing or things that they want to shirk off and stop doing and focus on something better. Now, you know, for you and your business career, which we'd call this now, you're taking off and you're someone that people should follow. Now, if you don't do it at Matt's level, if you do it at 50%, life has changed for you still, right? But, you know, I would just love for you to kind of close this out, give them a, you know, rally cry and cattle call and just fire them up about what's possible here.
100%. Now, getting into this, I completely changed my life. I mean, financially, physically, spiritually. I mean, I can't run. I still haven't ran. I'm still going through that, and I'm getting there, and I have hope to do that. But it's all about being accountable. I mean, you want goals. You want more for yourself. You got to really. I got this from David Goggins, the accountability mirror. You got to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of each day. Be like, did I do every single thing I could have to be the man I want to be, or at least going forward? And if I step back, I need to be able to look at myself and say that I didn't do everything and I messed up and I got to hold myself accountable. Because if you're not going to hold yourself accountable, who is? No one's coming to save you. No one's here to hold your hand through life and get you the money you want, the family you want, the personality you want. Now, another thing with that is I completely changed my identity. Like I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking, I stopped doing all these things that were holding me back. I cut all the vices out in my life. And easy way to do that is your mind is really a muscle that needs to be trained every single day. And instead of someone asking you like, hey, you want to drink? Nah, I'm trying to quit. Just no, I'm not a drinker. No, you want to come smoke? No, I'm not a smoker. Change yourself immediately. Program your brain to just embody that immediately. Now, another thing is like fill your day constantly with things that are going to be productive. I wake up in the morning, I'm ripping a podcast, I'm working out, I'm doing my physical therapy, I'm listening to David Goggins at 5 a.m. screaming in my face, let me know I'm not anything and I could be more. Because idle time is your worst enemy on the path to success, because that's when you fall back into your vices, you fall back into the things that tear you down. Now, another thing that's huge is get in environments where you're not the biggest fish. You know, be a minnow in a shark tank, and once you become that great white shark, get in a room with whales. Great way. I don't even know the analogy I'm looking for there, but you're
I
never
get
going to
it.
grow if you put a fish in a small tank. It's not going to grow to its full size and potential, and that's something that I really am trying to embody, because there's people in this business that have been in it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. I see the evolution of an agent, and that's where I want to become, and I want to pick their mind and be around people. And if you have to cut people off in your life that aren't on the same mission as you, I've lost so many friends already, but it's okay, because I know where I'm going. I'm going to be surrounded by the people I truly want to be surrounded with and are on the same mission as me and are like-minded and want the same things that I want. And another thing as a huge agent, I mean, you come in, be a sponge, call yourself SpongeBob SquarePants, get into different rooms, listen to things, because you're genuinely going to feel what you like, what works for you. Biggest thing, you're going to find out what you don't like and what doesn't work for you. And I mean, if I could leave it off with one thing, I mean, everyone's path to success is different. Like God is truly the author to your story. And I just got this in church on Easter. I mean, whatever happened in your life, this isn't the end of your story. It's literally just another chapter to your glory. And
Man,
thank
bro.
you guys for having me on so much.
Thank you. Drop a T and an M in the chat below. Blow that thing up. Show Troy and Matt some love for all they poured out today. Guys, it's you're doing the right things. You're around the right people. You're going the right direction. Just keep going. Bring people with you. And I couldn't be, prouder to work with you, prouder to know you guys, and excited for what you guys are going to do here and now and in the future. It's an incredible business, and we're just down. We're on chapter 9 of a 400 chapter book of what's possible here in insurance and FFL. So great job, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And you, as Amy said, you guys are the she. So I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk more soon. See you all next week. Bye for now.
Appreciate you
Sure.
guys.
Thank you.